Welcome to the Over-Caffeinated podcast with Justin Merced. Today we have Sebastien Schutt.
Hello.
It's a photographer. He's a videographer from New York. One of my best friends. And I just thought, I want to bring him in here just to talk, a little bit about his expertise and just some stuff that's going on recently in the media and whatnot. So tell me about yourself, Sebastien. What's going on? What's your Instagram, first of all? Let's get that out of the way.
All right. Hi, my name is Sebastien, as Justin said. My Instagram is SchuttPhotos. That is SCHUTT_photos. And like Justin said, I am a photographer mainly, but I dip and dabble in video. I do a couple music videos and a couple of corporate as well. And I'm just really happy to be here and ready to get started.
Nice. So and also give you a little background about myself. I do know a lot about photography through this guy because we used to actually work a banking job together years ago. It's been about 2-3 years now.
Yeah.
And he introduced me to, videography and photography. And I actually kind of took more of the videographer route. Hence the reason we're doing all this. And he went more, he's dabbling in photo just like I dabble in, dabbling in video just like I'm dabbling in photo. But for the most part, we've been working together for a couple of years. So I just want to bring him in and bring him some of his expertise. So let's just jump right into it. So you've worked with a lot of celebrities, a lot of, people prominent in the hip hop industry and things like that, right?
Yeah, I've worked with a couple.
Yeah. What was that like? Because I've done a couple of videos for, some celebrities, and
Definitely.
For me, it was very nerve-wracking. But for you, how was that first experience, and who was that artist that you shot that was like, you felt like, wow, this is like somebody who's known,
I mean, the first actual situation
I'll
where
get a little closer to the mic.
Oh, sorry. The first actual situation where I've gotten up close and personal with a American artist, it was one of my friends. Shout out to Mason J.
Shout out to Mason J.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. He was able to get me in so I can work with Kodak Black, A Boogie, and PNB Rock all at once. So that was definitely a great opportunity. Got to work with them. And from then on, I got to work with other artists like 21 Savage, Migos,
yeah.
like literally most American artists, most American rap artists, I've probably worked with them. It was definitely a cool experience to be around them.
Who was your favorite artist to shoot for?
At the time, I didn't even realize that he was gonna end up being one of my favorite artists. It was definitely A Boogie. A Boogie was a great opportunity to work with him. I got to work with him, I believe, three to four times. I got to take pictures of him, and it was definitely a dope experience. He's mad cool. It was dope.
I heard he's a gentleman. One of our friends, he does parties, Gio, and he worked with him once, I believe, and he was like a really cool guy. He shouted the girl out on her Instagram when he got to perform for some bar mitzvah or some Sweet 16. So I heard he's like a really, really cool with his fans, and that's cool.
He's definitely a cool guy. His people, I don't know. Yeah, his people are a little jumpy, but
you can't judge people completely by who they hang out with. But
exactly.
Now, who's your least favorite experience with a celebrity? You don't have to say that they're like a bad person, but like where you as a photographer were like, oh, wow, this was not what I expected.
I mean, I've never really put myself into like negative situations. The only situation I would say is like once I did end up meeting one of my favorite artists growing up, which was Jamie Foxx. Ridiculously dope artist. He's really talented. And I've been watching him since Living Color days. So I was able to meet up with him, but unfortunately he ended up being a bit of a dick. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm still happy to be to have the opportunity to have gone this close to him and being able to see him. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, you can't. They're not all like exactly how they are.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of artists, they show that they're like, awesome, good dudes, but end up being, dicks. But a good experience, though, I will say this.
Oh, wait, Sebastien. Look at me,
Oh, I have to look at you more. I
you don't have to
wasn't
look at
sure
me.
if I was.
No, I mean, is this your first podcast?
Yes.
This is my third podcast.
This is my first, so I wasn't sure. There's a big ass thing here in front of me.
It's okay. No, I mean, you don't have to. Just don't look at the camera. You could just be like, we're chilling, you know.
All right, cool. All right, so
we're back.
Yeah, we're back. All right, so definitely one of the dopest opportunities that I had, and definitely the highlight of my career was being able to go to Wiz Khalifa's house and.
My God.
Yeah, and being able to actually like relax and have conversations with him. He had no issues talking to me or stuff like that. Like he didn't. Like,
I love how you just drop a bomb. Like, oh, I just went to Wiz Khalifa's house. I mean, how'd that? Well, first of all, let's put up a picture like right here somewhere on a screenshot from his Instagram of an actual photo he took of Wiz Khalifa in his house. You saw that? All right, good. But explain that to me a little bit more. Like, what was that like? Like, how'd that, come about? Like,
well, the way that the whole Wiz Khalifa situation happened, it was from a friend of mine, a friend of ours actually, Wavy's World. You know him.
Shout out Wavy's World.
Yeah, the big deal.
Yeah, the big deal.
But yeah, so I was taking pictures for him when I went to the BET Awards, and we ended up getting a link. Wiz Khalifa's peoples ended up hitting up Wavy's World's peoples, and we ended up linking up. And he invited us to his house. We got to chill with his son. I ended up playing hide and go seek with Sebastien, like because his name is Sebastien, my name's Sebastien.
Wow.
Too. So
wow.
It was like perfect. So we were playing. We ended up eating afterwards. He took us eating. We went to the studio with him. We went to the club with him. It was just like a generally a dope experience. And he didn't want to seem like he was a dick or anything like that. Like he was mad nice.
So you would say he's like a down to earth guy. Like he's like cool with his fans, still break bread with anybody.
Yeah, super down to earth and super comfortable. Like he really wasn't the type of dude that I would expect to be this wholesome and this like welcoming.
Wow. And let's talk about it a little bit, just because. I mean, did he have a lot of weed at his house?
Yeah, yes, he did. Like, the dopest thing about his crib is like I always tell everybody. It's like when Kevin Hart was doing that skit about like how he would have a gun hidden in every part of his house. Yeah. That's how he had weed in his house. That's how Wiz Khalifa had weed. Literally every room that you went into, you would see a random trash bag of weed. Like just chilling there.
I love how it's a trash bag.
Yeah,
they can't have a regular.
Nope, it was a trash bag.
Like
it was a clear. No, it was a clear one. But it was a trash bag full of weed, and it was mad random. And we're still there, having fun with his kids and shit.
So he like smokes with his kid like right next to him.
I mean, he didn't blow it right in front of his face or like smoke the blunt right in his face, like right in front of him. But he would they would be in the same room and he wouldn't like smoke, but he wouldn't like.
It's like he wouldn't blow the smoke in his kid's face.
Exactly.
That's pretty good.
That's kind of messed up. Imagine blowing weed smoke at your kid. That's kind of fucked up.
Hold this.
Yeah, hold this,
please. So you would say like the best experience overall, like even though it might not be like the cleanest experience because it was probably like ups and downs. Like, am I gonna make it here? Are we gonna do it? You're probably nervous as hell. But you would say Wiz Khalifa was like the coolest experience you had as a photographer thus far in your career. Yeah,
definitely. The best and the actually the least stressful opportunity. Like you said, like it wasn't like. It was from the morning we knew where we were going and stuff like that. Everything was perfectly planned. The most stressful situation was probably like shooting Rolling Loud and like knowing that you only have certain amount of time to make it to this event. I mean, this stage and that stage. That would be crazy.
But would you say like that's like you get, because I saw the shots on your Instagram from that concert and it was amazing. So I mean, would you say that like that's something that you like doing more than kind of personal photo shoots? Like, do you like concert photography, or is that just something that you did for the opportunity? Like, you do more concert photography?
Honestly, I love concert photography.
Okay.
The reason why I love it so much, and I try to explain it to everybody, like being on stage, I understand why rappers do it, why musicians do it and everything, like, because being on stage and feeling the vibrations and being in front of millions of people is just like a whole different effect. I didn't even need to be the performer. I could just be literally just working there, taking pictures, and just the sensation of being on that stage is just crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean,
So God love it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I mean, that's dope. Concert photography is awesome, and definitely like it sucks that there hasn't been that many concerts, but
Yeah, unfortunately,
they're gonna come back.
no, there definitely is, but in the meantime, we have to reminisce. Like that one time that Justin and another photographer friend of ours named A Boogie, we went to shoot St. John, and
that was fun.
Yeah. St. John and Cody Shane. Shout out to Cody.
Shout out to Cody. Shout out to Shane John.
Yeah.
I mean, I love concerts, but as a photographer right now, videographer, because me and you, we kind of our bread and butter is events.
Yeah, definitely.
So as a photographer now, like, where do you think, like, do you think like because we've been changing what we have to do?
Definitely. Dramatically.
What have you been doing differently than you did before to make some more extra bread and make sure that you're staying up with your bills? Because obviously everybody's going through a difficult time right now as an artist, and you have to change up your style. So what have you been doing differently?
Well, me specifically, I'd say that coming from literally as Justin mostly knows, like going from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday having tons of events planned and to not having no nightclub, nothing at all is a real dramatic change. The great thing about my style of photography and the way that we work is that we're versatile with any type of shoot, whether it be club events or concert, but we can also do corporate events. We can also do personal photo shoot. We're really able to go to dabble into every type of field.
We're podcasting right now.
Exactly. Like, who would have thought that we would actually
be podcasting
right now?
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that if you try to do the same thing again, like I feel like a lot of businesses that are in the arts, or whether it's like the event industry in general, which is like what we used to do, if your only thing that you did was either like hosting the events, or you didn't like even like the people who own the companies, like our buddy Gio, who this is his office that we are shooting this podcast in, he started doing dividers and making plastic shields between counters, schools. So he's been able to keep his business going and still be successful.
Which is very smart, by the way.
Very smart. But, but there's some event planners that we've seen, and we're not going to name any names, where they didn't adjust. They're trying to throw parties, forcing things, getting shut down, wasting money on like things that don't really work. And then a lot of them have to go under. Whereas like the same thing kind of goes for, I would say, videographers, photographers. If we're just relying on trying to film events and we're just waiting for the event to happen, or work with other people that are just trying to force events that are not as good, and you're not really it's just not gonna work. So we have to adjust, and that's cool.
Exactly.
That's cool. I like that.
That's what I mainly had to do. I started doing more promotion work for music videos, and I started doing more portraits. I have my own home studio as well, as you know.
Yep.
And I've started using that more because I've realized that since people are feeling a little uncomfortable being out there, being next to other people and stuff like that, I provide a safe and closed space where we can work and stuff like that.
You don't have to deal with all the craziness that's going on right now.
Exactly. So so it's all about adjusting, just figuring out different ways to off of your talent, figure out different ways to make money off of it. That's it.
And speaking of money and clients and whatnot, I mean, whether it's coronavirus time or not coronavirus time, good clients, bad clients exist.
Yes.
What is the worst client that you ever have? Don't say names. You can if you want to.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've had multiple bad clients and multiple good clients.
Yeah. Well, we'll go start with the bad one because it's funnier. Like, what was the worst experience in general with a client?
Worst experience. All right. The worst experience would definitely be working with a couple of my other friends into a project.
Which one? Oh.
You know exactly what project I'm talking about. So
you can explain it a little bit.
Basically, I'm not gonna explain it too much because whoever might hear it might feel offended, but
understood.
It is what it is. Basically, we were taking product pictures, and it ended up what was supposed to be 10 to 20 items ended up being like 100 200.
And the price stayed the same.
Yes.
We're not going to talk about the price either, because that's embarrassing.
Yeah, we're not going to say the number, because we'll never do that ever again.
So we don't want nobody think that that's our price.
So
That's not our price.
So we did it for a ridiculously low price, but granted, the person was a good friend of my brother, who was a good supporter of
Careers,
us. Yeah, both our careers.
He knew that we were helping her out, but the amount of work,
it was ridiculous.
It's funny how the worst project is something we did together.
Yeah,
in a nutshell, the lady got asked for hundreds of pictures, and she wanted them to be creative and have style without it being just kind of black and white, whereas the products were very low quality products, so it was hard to make it look good.
Yep, but we still did it. We still managed.
We did it.
To find a way to make it look good on a budget, and made it look different.
And then she said she didn't like it, and then never paid us.
Wow. No, but she. Yeah, it was a bad situation. But again, you take the bad situation and you learn from it. Now,
my worst client, I won't say any names either. It was actually an old acquaintance of mine that I used to work with. And
again,
we actually both worked with this individual, and this person wanted us to take photos and video. Well, mostly it was actually it was mostly photos and just like really nice whatever for his fiance. And when it came to us giving the pictures, we gave everything, the video, the photo. Honestly, it was like worth like at least like, realistically, if I go back and think about it, it was worth like at least $1,000 worth of content that you gave this person.
Yep.
And then after I was like, okay, so where's my money? He said, "Oh, I thought you were just doing this because you're my friend."
All right, we need to talk about this real quick. The whole friend from the photographer, friend to business.
We talk about this all day.
We talk about it all the time, but let's actually put this out there.
All right, tell me.
All right, so as friends, let's be realistic. As friends, we should be the ones helping the other friend out. Yeah. We should make it into our mission, into like providing to help the company out.
100%.
Like for example, a perfect example. If I wasn't a photographer and I needed photography services, I know Justin take pictures. I'm gonna at least try to negotiate so that I can get it for a full price so I can take pictures. I wouldn't not ever just tell Justin, "Yo, just come to this party, man. Oh, by the way, you should bring your camera."
Oh my God.
Or you know what? I'm gonna post it just so that more people can see your work.
Yeah, I think the number one thing this is a great topic, first of all. So we're definitely gonna clip this topic. The excuses people say to you when they're trying to get you to work for free.
Yeah.
This is exposure. This will help you with exposure. What do you say to that at this point? Being like a veteran now,
being in this game for
have you fallen for that before?
Of course, I've fallen for it multiple times.
Me too.
And it's helped me. Don't get me wrong, it's helped me, but it's also, it ended up being in a bad situation where I've wasted time, I've wasted money, I've wasted my peace of mind, I wasted it was just a bad situation. So I've had both situations, but I will say this: if you are starting, you're brand new, starting into the field, and you want to help your work, you feel like you haven't really achieved the state of work that you have yet, and you want to practice. You don't have a look yet, and you want to keep practicing. There's nothing wrong with doing free work for exposure. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you feel like you've mastered something and you feel like you should 100% be paid for the amount of effort that you put in,
100%,
then you should not be taking jobs for exposure anymore.
Oh, hell no.
That's just how it is.
Yeah, it's people really think that, I don't know, it's almost like a slap in the face when a client asks if you want to do exposure because they're saying low key, or if they're actually asking for a ridiculous price. They're low-key basically saying that I don't think that your job is very hard. And I don't think that you deserve that much because I personally don't think it's hard. But those people don't understand. Like the most annoying thing is when somebody asks for like raw photos.
Yeah.
Because you know that person has no idea how to edit it without, they can't throw an Instagram filter on that. It's going to look good.
And it's nice. Most likely it's still gonna look trash. There's been situations where I've had clients, not even clients, friends of clients. That's really what ticks me off. Friend of clients that take the pictures and they're like, oh, literally the next day, maybe even not the next day, that same night, hitting you up like, yo, I dib and dabble with the editing, send the raw pictures, let me get it. You know what? I just send it to them. And you know what? They don't use the pictures because it doesn't look as great when all his friends is gonna be posting their great pictures that I've edited. He's gonna understand.
Yeah, but then it's like always annoying where, yeah, but there's always people like that. I hate sending my raw photos. I think there's like a couple reasons why, like we talked about it. I think one is that if somebody sees your raw photo or raw video, especially raw video, I think is worse. When people ask for raw video, because that shit looks horrible.
Yeah, that's terrible. And that's just a lot of space for no reason. And
then some people, they'll ask for it and then they'll start editing it or try to, you know, and then they think like, wow, Justin's a trash videographer.
Yeah.
Wow, his raw files like so bad. He probably did so bad on this. This was going to be such a bad video. I can't believe that. Yeah, never hire Justin. And then, or if somebody walks in the room and your raw video is playing that's not stabilized, and then they're saying, oh wow, Justin doesn't know what he's doing. I'm never going to hire him. And that's like another person. Yeah. So it's like, I don't think sending raw photos and videos is like really. We both have different styles, and we both work with different type of like art. You're doing like more like artists, club people.
That's true, but it also depends on clients. Keep in mind, I did that. This specific situation, it was just to prove a point. But realistically, let's face it, whether it be pictures or video, taking the raw images, it's not the finished product. Yeah. Whenever you're done with the event or whatever you're shooting, it's not over. The product is not over. We still have to edit it and make it look way better. Yeah, way better. Yeah. It's like, you know, for most people that would understand that, it's like, for example, when people do tattoos, like, you know, this guy won't understand. He does not have tattoos. But like, it's like when you're drawing, is when you're outlining, okay, that's one thing, it might look nice, but it all comes together when you do the shading and stuff like that. That's when the picture really comes out. Yeah, it comes out nice. So that's all. Like,
so you have to wait. A raw photo is like an outline.
Yeah, exactly.
With potential.
Exactly. Don't get me wrong. Some outlines will look good, just like some raw pictures off the camera might look great. Yeah. And you might not even need to do that much to the picture.
Yeah, if you don't shoot flat, you know, sometimes it's just ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. And to the photographers that do it, by all means, if you feel like that's your groove and you mastered that, by all means you can do that. But me personally, I need to do the shading. I need to do the last process.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely a habit of a bad client. I feel like a lot of videographers and photographers, if your client says that to you, think twice before you send them. That's just my biggest recommendation to anybody. Like, don't just blindly send things. Also, I think a main thing in the beginning as a photographer / videographer is the fact that you're so willing to do things for people. Yeah. You know, in the beginning, because but you don't understand when people are taking advantage of you.
100%.
Yeah, that's like a thing, especially when they know that you're in the beginning. Like, people will go hard. No. People try to get you to shoot a wedding for free if you have like some skills.
110%. And it's not even just at the beginning. Just because you're a nice dude with a camera,
100%.
People will try to take advantage. It's impossible. And it's not just about cameras. Any type of business. People.
What about the IG friend? The IG friend that thinks he's a model or she's a model.
Oh my God.
Those are the worst.
Now, don't get me wrong. Those are good people to test on.
Yeah, test. That's it though.
Yeah, that's it.
You get one free.
Yeah, you get, like, if you're just starting, your best friend is a fake IG model, by all means, use your best friend to get better. But once you get that point, surpass
then you gotta charge. But then
you gotta charge.
But it's so hard with those people too.
Yeah,
that's another thing as a videographer, photographer when it comes to pricing.
Mm-hmm.
You can always go down with your pricing to help them out, but you can never go up.
That is true.
They can't just say, like, let's just say you got some of your old clients in the beginning stages where you first started doing videography and you were charging, I don't know, $100 or something like that for a photo shoot.
Yeah.
You can't go to that same person a year later once you have your skills and you're doing, $500, $1,000 photo shoots. And they're like, well, they only expect $100 still.
No, but it's because those people feel some sort of entitlement because you work with them in the past, and then now you're lit. A perfect example that I like to give is there was this dude that I used to work for him. Not for work for him. He used to book me for a couple of shoots, and I used to take pictures for him early on.
You still shoot for him or no?
I've taken pictures from time to time, but
you don't have to disclose it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say his name, but basically, I used to take pictures for him in the past, and then a couple of years went by. We didn't really take any pictures, but I kept taking pictures all over and stuff like that. Now he calls me, ends up asking me for a shoot. Now I give him my current price. Now he gets offended. He's like, "Yo, I've known him for this long. I've been taking pictures for him for this long. I wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for him helping me out, taking pictures and stuff like that."
Such a low blow for no reason. That ruins the whole friendship.
Yeah, it was the funny thing. We weren't even friends that much. We were like just cool.
Yeah, but it ruins all potential. And then obviously you got higher and higher and higher. And now it's just like your prices are 3 times higher.
And keep in mind, I only asked him for like $50 extra. Just $50 extra. And he thinking just because of that, he feels that he should be special, that he shouldn't have to pay that price. But as people that if you're supporting somebody in their business, I still feel like you should just help them out with however you can.
100%. If you have the means, you know, we have a lot of people. We've recently had a client where they'd be like, they would say like, oh, like just try to change the price or try to get a better deal. Yeah. Really quick. We're not going to say names again, but there's a lot of people like that too. Yeah. It's crazy.
Everybody's trying to find a better deal. And at the end of the day, you can't knock it because people are like that. You will always trying to find a better deal, but just keep in mind who you're trying to G. Who is the person that, Yeah. Just because you don't want to mess with the person that has the product.
And the influence. Yeah. And then you get blackballed. Like, oh, so-and-so is hard to work with. Yeah.
That's why me personally, I don't burn bridges at all. I try to stay nice as possible. Neutral. Yeah. And no matter what's there's not one client that can come to you and say that he was a dick to me, he was an asshole or anything like that. I always be nice with somebody. If they don't like the product, I just walk away and that's it.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm gonna cut the camera for a few seconds because we're coming up the 30-minute mark, but we'll be back. And we're back. Okay, so we're talking about bad experiences with clients, good experiences with clients like Wiz Khalifa and things like that. But just like it's cool, like learning just like how to navigate all this stuff that's going on when it comes to because like when you're starting photography and videography, you don't understand the price, you don't understand how much to charge, you don't understand any of that stuff, and you're basically kind of like making it up, or you go on YouTube and it's like all subjective advice. So maybe you're learning from YouTuber from like Wisconsin, prices are different than New York City prices. 100%. So it's really just kind of making it up on your own. What was your biggest mistake when it comes to just photography, like the technical aspect, not the business aspect? Like, what was the biggest screw up you've ever been a part of where it ruined everything, but you learned from it?
Technical screw up. All right.
Or not even a script, just something bad that happened.
All right. So something technical where it ended up being bad. I'd say this. The worst situation was definitely when I finished. Well, it wasn't just me. It was me and 3 other photographers. At the time, we were in a group called Collabo, and we had just done our 2nd and our 3rd wedding. Now, we did both in 1 month, and it was great. We're extremely excited. We backed up everything, and we're ready to go. and something happened. We ended up the hard drives ended up malfunctioning. We lost everything.
Oh my God.
Yep, we lost everything.
Not even like one, like the whole event.
Both events, like
The two events.
both weddings that we not only got paid for.
Oh my God.
We shot. We had started editing and everything just disappeared. Thank God. Some way we managed to find 2 of the memory cards. Even though they were formatted, we were able to bring some of these pictures back.
Jesus.
And unfortunately, one of the weddings ended up receiving no pictures and none of the video. We had to do a full refund. It was a disaster. And unfortunately, it even made my older brother Jerry, like retire from taking pictures. He was like, okay, after such a stressful situation, he didn't want to deal with that anymore, and he had to walk away.
So he never took professional photos since that time?
Since then, I mean, he's taken he's dib and dabble into his own personal,
but he's never
photography. Nah, ever since that situation, he's never taken like a client to take pictures.
That's so sad because he's really talented.
Yeah, he's extremely talented photographer, and I've learned most of my photography through him.
Wow.
But unfortunately, the stress got to him, and he just said he didn't want to deal with that anymore. He still, like I said, he still take pictures on for himself, as a hobby
and as an artist.
Yeah, as an artist, but he decided to stop it with that.
Okay, well that's fair. Wow, that's very that's like I think my worst nightmare.
Yeah. It was definitely a wake-up call for me. That's why me personally, if
I'm like, wait, because I feel like everybody has that story where they say that they had a hard drive and it got messed up. It's never happened to me, but I feel like every photographer / videographer has one hard drive that goes bad, and it still hasn't happened to me. And I know it's probably gonna happen to me.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
So I'm like, damn. It's like I'm waiting.
It's gonna happen. That's why my number one rule when it comes to me personally is like all the memory cards that I take up important event. Let's say a wedding, for example. Every wedding that I shot ever since that situation, I keep the pictures in that memory card. I don't mind buying an extra memory card. It's $15 to $20 for like a 64 to like 120. Yep. It's really not that much money.
It's like a really important event that you're not done yet with it yet.
No matter if I'm done with the picture, if it's like a wedding or something extremely important, I save the memory card, and I'd rather just buy another one for another event. Not only do I save the memory card, I back it up on my hard drive as well. I try to have as many backups as possible.
That scarred you then. Yeah, that scared you for life.
I can't, man. If you go to my office, you will literally see a book full of memory cards.
It looks like one of those Pokemon books.
Yeah, it really does. You would think that I have a mad Pokemon card.
That's why I was like, what is this? Holographic Charizard?
Nah, but it's very important. Like if backup,
your backup.
Back up your backup. Yeah, have a backup for your backup.
I haven't actually backed up in a little while, and I have a extra 4 terabyte, but I'm gonna do that tonight.
You should 100% back up any important stuff. Like if you have cloud storage, invest into that. Back up your important stuff because again, it is really important. Another example, I've been building my website now, and like I wish that I could go back into those hard drives because honestly, throughout my photography career, I believe I've had 3, maybe 4 hard drive.
Jeez.
Fall off for me. Like
4?
Stop working. Yeah.
I haven't had one yet.
Yeah, I've had 4.
But then again, you've been doing photography for years more than me.
Yeah. It's been like what 7-8 years.
Yeah, I'm going into my 3rd, 4th. So.
Well, you're learning from my mistakes as well.
Maybe tech got better though.
That is also true. Tech did 100% get better, and I was a little cheaper as well when it came down to the
You got the spinny disc hard drives.
Yeah, exactly. I was getting those
SSDs. We know now.
Well, actually, not just SSDs. I've had 2 SSDs crash on me.
Jeez.
So even those are not safe, people.
Nothing's safe.
Nothing is safe. That's why I say it.
Polaroids.
That's why I say have a backup for your backup because I believed in the SSD hype and I was going for that. But it's after that I realized that any hard drive that you end up traveling with that you're gonna be shoving in and out of your computer
should be an SSD.
Is not only it's gonna help if it's an SSD, but any hard drive that you're gonna keep going in and out with is gonna end up breaking at some point.
That's so scary.
At some point, so that's why I'd be ready.
That's pretty terrifying.
It is.
Hey, what's up, Gio? But yeah, no, I mean, for the most part, that was yeah, no, I mean, that would definitely like scar me for life, where I would never really recover from that emotionally.
Yep,
if that happened to me. And I'm so sorry for Jerry. That's why his brother's awesome. I knew, yeah. I want to talk to him about that in the future, because I feel like he really should get out there more and just start photographing more.
Yeah.
Because he's, you know, that sucks. But I completely understand the fear of something like that happening. That's the worst thing to ever happen to a person as a photographer, videographer. So it doesn't get any worse than that.
Yeah. No, I mean, there has been
break
worse.
your camera. You can break your camera.
Yeah.
You can drop it in water.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet. I've dropped my camera on the floor, and thank God for insurance. But
Insurance.
Get the insurance, people. But yeah, that does happen, make or break. But that is probably the worst situation. And like, funny enough, we almost got sued off of that, because it is
100%. It's a legal thing.
Yeah, it's an actual legal thing that you can get sued if you take the pictures and something bad happens to the camera.
Wait, so how did you get around that?
Me personally, I wasn't the one dealing with it, so
Jerry?
It was more Jerry and Teddy, which they were the two
Teddy?
heads of the company at the time. Yeah, it was Teddy and Jerry. They were like the lead things, and Tag was one of them too.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so they were the one dealing with the client. They managed to get them as many clips as we could retrieve from that, and the money back, and they were able to drop that. But they were threatening us with
legalities.
Yeah, and stuff like that, and it ended up, it was a really shaky situation. So yeah, never be in that situation.
Would you recommend even possibly dumping files mid-event?
If you feel like more comfortable doing that, by all means, you could do it. You can do it. Me personally, I feel like everybody has a system when it comes to photographers and videographers.
We were actually just talking about things that can go wrong during a shoot that would ruin the shoot.
Yep.
And the camera just overheated. Pow. So that's what just happened. And that's why we just cut off mid-sentence, but we're back now. But it also shows that anything bad could happen. You know?
Anything bad in every...
Your hard drive could die. Yep. You could drop your camera in a pool. Your camera could overheat.
Yep. That's why, again, it's very important to have a backup for your backup.
Or just a better camera. And speaking of better cameras...
Yep.
We're Sony shooters. Me and Sebastien.
100%.
Yeah. And a lot of people... There's been a lot of, if you're into cameras, so if you're not into cameras, you can learn something. But if you are into cameras, this is a really good time to be a photographer, videographer right now.
100%.
There's the Canon's dropping the R series. They're upgrading it, going to more other mirrorless bodies, the R5, the R6.
Yep.
We got the Sony A7S3.
Yep, S3.
And what is there? The Nikon just still has a Z6.
I believe, it is the Nikon Z6, but I mean,
no one gets that.
Yeah, no.
But we're Sony fanboys. So the Sony A7S3 is coming, and this would not happen. The overheating in 4K, 24 frames a second. If you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It wouldn't happen if this was not a Sony A7S3.
Nope.
For all I know right now, the camera could have overheated already. I wouldn't even know.
Yeah, we could have had like a whole conversation. Would I have known that the camera overheated?
Yeah. So you think you're going to upgrade?
I am 100% going to upgrade. The reason why is because I've realized that I need personally a better video camera. Mm-hmm. I believe what I have is decent enough for my pictures, but the 120 frames at 4K and also I believe 8K at 24, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
No, actually, no. They didn't tap in the 8K.
But still, 6K at 120, and with the Atomos Ninja monitor, you'll be able to shoot RAW. I feel like it's the best bang for your buck.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that it's going to dominate the video industry after? Or do you think that it's going to have... Do you think it's like the R5 is really going to give it a run for its money?
I 100% believe that the R5 is going to give him a run for the money, because the Canon R5 is a better overall camera when
You
it
really
comes
think so?
when it comes to practical use, being able to switch from video to picture and having all the great quality, but it's just not as trusting and practical when it comes to like long jobs. Like for example, if you're actually doing video for a wedding, it's gonna be difficult. Like
I would never use that.
yeah, you shouldn't shoot the R5, especially if you're gonna be shooting 8K or 4K the whole way. Doing that with the R5 is a little risky.
Would you say that a photographer would be more suitable? Like a event photographer would be more suitable for the R5 then?
100%. That I believe that would be that's gonna be the event camera
For photographers.
For photographers or actually videographers as well. When it comes to like small events, for example, if let's say you're only doing shooting B-rolls, you're only doing like small clips where you can have resting periods in between clips, then the R5 is 100% your go-to camera. Yeah. But if you feel like you're gonna be doing long establishing shots, just like right now, where you have to do like 10 to 20 of nonstop shooting, then yeah, the R5 will put you down. So you're better off with the S3.
Sony. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's a smart move for Sony, just because they didn't throw in the extra stuff. Like if they put in 8K compatibility, then they wouldn't be able to put this amazing cooling system they put in, in the new camera, which allows it to shoot. I've heard people shooting in 4K 120 in the desert and not really having any issues. Not saying that it doesn't overheat.
It does overheat. It's not the world best camera.
But I would say that it wouldn't overheat in 4K 24, I don't think. Like you could probably shoot it for like 2 hours as long as you have the batteries. It'll be fine.
Yeah, as long as you don't, OD with the heat and the amount of
120.
Yeah, and you don't add too many devices and stuff like that. Like you should be good.
It's pretty crazy. And how long do you think that it will be for us to have that camera where we wouldn't have to upgrade?
Well, what do you mean?
Like how long do you think like that camera will last us, like as creators, like where we don't feel like our stuff is outdated?
Well, considering that in the market right now, there's no mirrorless DSLRs that's doing 4K 120 right now, other than the S3, the R5, and that's it, right? The Nikon Z6 isn't reaching that. So
I think it's just 4K 24 on the Nikon. Yeah.
So considering that's brand new when it comes to the mirrorless portable DSLR type cameras. Yep. I believe that this camera should at least last us for about like 3 to 5 years, because by then I believe the technology is gonna just
6K.
Yeah, it's gonna get better and better. By the time that within like 2 to 3 years, 6K is gonna probably become the new 4K, which is gonna be the norm. Yeah. And then we're just gonna keep upgrading.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I always, with technology, it's easy to fall behind, and if you always want to have like the best, newest stuff, then, you're always going to be behind. But
100%.
But I would say that overall bang for your buck for videographers, even photographers, I think that it'll still be a really good choice, because we saw a lot of tutorials with like certain photographers. For Sony, for the photography. Basically, the only difference that when it comes to the sensors, because that is a drawback, is the 12 megapixel sensor.
Yeah.
Which is weird that they would even put a 12 megapixel sensor. But they did that because apparently that helps with the low light capabilities.
Exactly. And considering that in my specific situation where I'm always shooting at low light situations, I believe that it's gonna be very helpful. And you too. Most of the videos and the events that you end up shooting ends up being between golden hour and nighttime. Exactly. Yeah. So I believe that 100% the Sony is probably the best bang for your buck. Yeah. Not to say that if you don't have the Sony A7S, not the Sony A7Iii or any Canons, or you can still have great quality shots even with not a expensive camera.
Or the newest.
Yeah, the newest camera.
I shoot the Sony A7Iii, and I think it's going to be a great brother camera to it, or it seems like it's going to be his father, Yeah,
100%.
So. Oh, I didn't even hear that. You want to put her on the podcast? You can put her on.
Okay. But that's what's most important. Yeah, the camera is important. Yeah, the lenses are extremely important.
Extremely.
But something that's very, very important that not a lot of people talk about and that's crucial is definitely lighting. Invest in lighting.
Or just invest in learning lighting. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but
100%. Like that's something that I had to learn the hard way, and it took me years of doing that. Instead of investing on certain props or anything like that, I should have been investing more in lighting. And I believe that now it definitely it shows that it's really more important.
100%.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I wanted to wrap this up just because I don't want the camera to overheat again because we don't have the Sony A7S III yet.
Soon.
In a month. But thanks for coming on Over-Caffeinated. And is there any last words, anything you want to shout out before we wrap it up?
No, it was definitely a pleasure being invited in this podcast, and I look forward to seeing more and more stuff from you.
Yeah, you'll come back for sure, 100%. Maybe in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, bye.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, and peace.